Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedhase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Welcome to all for this session on Ramayana to chapter 18 of Kishkindha Kanda. In the previous chapter, we saw Vali, after being killed by Rama while he was engaging in fight with Sugriva. Rama killed him by throwing his arrow from the cover of the forest, unknowing to Vali, who was hit by the craft, hit by the arrow, fell to the ground in the pool of blood. And then he went on abducting Rama for killing him from the cover while he was engaging in fighting with Sugriva. He told him that he is not following the path of Dharma, he is not virtuous, and told many bad words towards Rama, objecting him for his act. And now in this chapter, Rama is answering to Vali's queries. Such was the speech, dictated by a sense of duty and his own interest, full of censure and harsh in tone, that Vali, who was mortally wounded, made to Rama, resembling the sun shorn of its rays, or a parched cloud, or a fire that has been extinguished. That illustrious king of the Vanaras, endowed with justice and reason, having upbraided Rama with severity, was addressed by him in the following words: O Vali, why do you inveigh against me like a child, since you are wholly ignorant of the traditions of duty, profit, and social convention? Without consulting your elders who are held in respect by the Brahmins, in your simian folly, you have presumed to address me thus, who am filled with goodwill towards you. This earth belongs to the Ikshvakus, together with its mountain, forests, and woods, and they have jurisdiction over the wild beasts, birds, and men. Manu, who is the person who rules in that particular Manvantara, he had given the right of ruling the whole world to the Ikshvaku, as it is believed. It is ruled by the virtuous Bharata, who is fixed in his duty and fully conversant with the law, with the proper means to acquisition of wealth and the right pursuit of pleasure, and who is ever engaged in repressing evildoers and recompensing the virtuous. It is the duty of a king to develop the art of government, be established in virtue, be endowed with valor, and know how to estimate time and place. We other princes carry out his righteous commands because Bharata is currently ruling the whole world. So other princes carry out his righteous commands and range the whole earth in our desire to promote the law. When that lion among men, Bharata, who cherishes equity, rules the entire world, who would dare to commit an injustice? Fixed in our supreme duty, obedient to Bharata's will, in accord with the law, we put down transgression. You have violated justice, and your conduct is condemned by all. Lust being your only mentor, ignoring as you do the royal path. One who pursues the path of duty should regard his elder brother, the one who has given him birth, and the one who instructs him in wisdom, as his three fathers. Righteous demands that a younger brother, a son, and a virtuous disciple should be regarded as one's own offspring, their own children. Even for the virtuous, duty is subtle and not easy to grasp. The soul residing in the heart alone knows what is right and what is wrong. Here you can observe it is not something that is written on the words, written by through words on a paper. that will going to decide what is right or wrong. It is only their soul which knows what is right and what is wrong. O heedless monkey, you are surrounded by irresponsible simian counselors who are unable to control themselves, but it is a case of blind leading the blind. Who can, how can you learn from them? Normally, people are, especially those who are in power, are encircled by their own coterie, who always simply uh, who always simply encourage whatever being done by the leader. And with such a coterie, what is that the leader will going to learn? You need to keep counselors who will going to object, who will going to identify the fault in the leader and should be able to correct him, correct his course of action. But when he is surrounded by such a coterie, then nothing good will be done because the king or the leader is already blinded by his own ego, and the others are only boosting his ego who are also blind towards his action. Otherwise, the moment when Sugriva was thrown out of the kingdom, why Vali had abjected his wife, he would have punished Sugriva or would have set up a panel to understand what exactly happened and took a rightful action. But Wali did not do that. Wali ended up in anger. He took action trying to kill Sugriva, driving him away from the kingdom. But more than that, he abducted his wife, which is a heinous crime. I am speaking frankly to you, O Wali. You had no possible right to reproach me in my wrath. Learn how and for what reason I struck you down. You have acted in opposition to the spiritual law. While Sugriva yet alive, you have had marital relation with Rama. You have had the conjugal relation with Rama, who is your sister in law. O perverse wretch, in order to satisfy your lust, you have transgressed the law of righteousness. And, O monkey, since you have not respected your brother's wife, this retribution has followed you. I see no other reason of restraining him who acts contrary to the interests of his subjects and does not conform to the social code, but by punishment, O king of monkeys. Often some people might comment when Vali was presumed to be dead, Sugriva was also having a similar marital relation with Tara, the wife of Vali. Remember, at that time, everybody were under the impression that Vali is dead. And a dead brother's wife is always considered equivalent to their own wife according to the Kshatriya tradition. It is the good for the kings to follow because those women of Kshatriya clan are equally powerful and very helpful in running the country. And they have all the Kshatriya, the women also have all the Kshatriya capability to follow, and their services need to be well utilized for the sake of state affairs. Whereas it may be either the younger brother or the elder brother, that is immaterial as long as they are not alive. In fact, even after the death of Vali, Tara will be wedded to Sugriva because that was an accepted practice among the Kshatriya clan when the elder brother or the brother is not alive. But Vali made the mistake that even while Sugriva is alive, knowing that he is alive, he objected his wife and forcefully wedded to her. Being a warrior of an illustrious race, I am unable to brook your villainy. The man who makes his daughter, his sister, or his sister in law an object of lust is punishable by death, and this is the law. Though Bharata is the supreme monarch, we carry out his behests. How can you who have broken the law escape punishment? It is not necessary for the president or the prime minister to come and deliver the justice. It is always delivered by the people who are sitting in the position as a judge. But they mention by the order of the president, which indicates that it is all delivered by the president himself or the prime minister himself according to the system of politics. He who fails to listen to his instructor in the forum of law will be judged according to the law by the king. And one cannot question the law that is made by the king, and one cannot question the constitution. Even for questioning the law or constitution, the ultimate authority in Bharata is Supreme Court. And one cannot question the judgment, or one cannot question the supremacy of the law, because the law was passed by the House of Parliament in a due course after a due discussion. So such things cannot be questioned. So here he is saying Bharata is the monarch and this is the law according to the tradition, and Rama is only delivering the punishment. Bharata seeks to repress dissolute customs, and we who carry out his commands fully try to bring to justice those who, like you, overstep the boundaries of the law. O chief of monkeys, Sugriva is my friend and equal to Lakshmana. It is for the recovery of his wife and kingdom that he entered into a pact of friendship with me. In the presence of his ministers, I pledged my words. How can a man like myself fail to meet these obligations? But remember one, even in the past, when before Rama pledged in front of Sugriva, he first duly inquired, though in the beginning he told he will do everything to help Sugriva get back his kingdom. Later, he inquired the reason for enmity between Sugriva and Vali. Whatever is the story Sugriva is telling to Rama, the most important is that while Sugriva is alive, Vali abducted his wife and is wedded to her, which is a heinous crime punishable by death alone. And remember, why death alone for that? Because he is the king. Brahmana is always gets the maximum peak punishment because he is the knower of the truth, knower of all the Shastras and Veda. Kshatriya will be punished a little less compared to a Brahmana because he may not be aware of all the Shastras, but he is supposed to be the protector of the world, and he will also get a equally great punishment. Comparatively, Vaishya will get a little lesser punishment because he only takes care of financial transactions and is not a protector of the world and not a knower of the Shastras. Whereas a Shudra, being the lowest in the ladder, he neither has a knowledge of Shastras, nor he is a protector of the world, nor he know anything about the financial transaction. He only serve the society. So because of that reason, for the same crime, Shudra will get the least punishment compared to the Vaishyas, and compared to Vaishya, Kshatriya will get a higher punishment, and compared to all others, Brahmana will get a weak punishment, and the king will get a punishment which is much higher than all these four classes, because the king is the one who is supposed to be ideal to the world, and it is because of that reason, for the mistake that he had done, the only punishment is to death. For all these reasons, based on the law, you can judge for yourself whether your punishment is merited or not. That is wholly just. You will be forced to admit and further that one is bound to help a friend if one acknowledges one's duty. You would have done likewise if you had followed the law. Two of the verses of Manu are specially devoted to these rules of conduct and are known to the authorities of law. These are defined in the Manusmriti. I have been faithful to them. Those men who having done wrong submit to the penalty imposed by the king and washed free from every stain and ascend to heaven like the good, and those who do benevolent deeds. Means even if someone has made a mistake, when he accepts penalty, when he accepts the judgment of the king, and when he undergoes punishment, he is considered as equivalent to the others who have done benevolent deeds, because everyone do makes a mistake, but accepting their mistake in front of the law court of law and accepting the punishment given there will make them free from the mistake that they have done. Further punishment and pardon exonerates the thief from his fault, but the king who does not put down the wise himself assumes the guilt. If the king doesn't punish the thief, if the king doesn't give the punishment, then it is the responsibility of the king, and the king himself will be considered as guilty. My worthy ancestor Mandhata voluntarily underwent a terrible expiation for a monk who was guilty of an offense similar to yours, whom he pardoned. Other monarchs, in their folly, have also done wrong but have practiced penance. Means in case if they are in a fixed situation that they cannot deliver the justice for which they will have to kill a monk or they have to kill a brahmana, then they need to practice expiation or they need to practice some penance in order to overcome the guilt of their own mistake of not delivering the justice. It is by this means that passion is subdued, but enough of recriminations. Your death has been decreed in accordance with the spiritual law. O lion among Vanaras, we are not acting on personal impulse. Listen to a further reason, O valiant bull among Vanaras. Having grasped its significance, you will no longer be able to reproach me. Neither did I follow my own whim, nor did I act hastily, nor in anger. Snares, nets, and traps of every kind, either open or concealed, are used to catch innumerable wild beasts, whether they are fleeing in terror or unafraid or standing still. Whether these beasts are maddened with fear or not, they who feed on the flesh run them through without pity while their back is turned. It does not seem to me that they are at fault. In fact, killing an animal for the sake of flesh is not considered as a fault. It is neither considered as a sin, nor it is considered as a crime which needs to be punished. One do used to kill animal for the sake of their food. But at the same time, often people like Kshatriyas do also kill the wild beasts. And of course, according to the today's law, because some species are in the endangered condition and their killing would alter the food cycle, so because of that reason government has banned the killing of certain animals which is punishable. So in that cases those animals are not supposed to be killed, but apart from that any animal can be killed without any guilt of punishment. In this world, even royal rishis, versed in their duty, indulge in the chase. This is why, with a single arrow, I struck you down while engaged in combat with your brother, O Vanara. What boots it whether you did enter into combat with me or not, since you are but a monkey? Remember, Vali is being killed like a wild beast because as a Kshatriya, Rama has all power to kill a wild beast. And more important, he is guilty of his mistake. Vali has made a mistake, and once he is made a mistake, and if he is punishable with a death according to the spiritual law, it is up to the law to consider how a person need to be killed. For example, if someone is convicted for the ultimate punishment of death, then how it should be carried out, whether it should be carried out by hanging him, or whether it should be carried out by poisoning him, or whether it should be carried out by putting him to an electric chair, or whether it should be carried out by beheading him. It all depends on the government, the court of law, to decide how the person need to be killed. Whereas here Wali behaved like a wild animal. He was not even ready to accept the mistake he had done. He is not even aware of his mistake. He is not even guilty of his mistake. He started abducting Rama, which clearly showed him he is behaving like a wild animal. Even in the court of law, he is not ready to accept his guilt. So because of that reason, he was chased and he was killed by standing in the cover. So the way of killing such a beast who is not ready to accept his crime is the decision to be taken by the one who is supposed to deliver the punishment. Unquestionably, it is kings who dispense the unwritten law and happiness in life. O best of monkeys, one would never reproach them, nor address them disrespectfully, nor disregard them. They are gods who, assuming human form, dwell on earth. But you, in your ignorance of the law, dominated by anger, did insult me, who have ever conformed to the established tradition of your ancestors. For example, if someone is convicted in the court of law, can he object the judge? Can he object the judge for delivering such a kind of a judgment? When he ever object him, he can make an appeal over that, whatever judgment being given to a higher court. But the maximum he could reach is only Supreme Court. And even if Supreme Court decides that he is guilt, then his appeal will be rejected and will be punished. And the person cannot question what authority Supreme Court is having punish me, what law you are following, and I don't accept that particular law. It becomes simply meaningless and a foolish act. Here Rama delivered the justice according to the spiritual act, which says that developing a wedded connection with the brother's wife while the brother is alive is punishable. For a king, it is punishable to death, because the king is supposed to follow a ideal for his subjects. Hearing Rama's words, Vali, deeply mortified, no longer sought to denounce the son of Raghu. Task of duty now having been rendered clear to him, and with joined palms the king of Vanaras answered him, saying, undoubtedly, O first of men, what you have uttered is truth. To gainsay an eminent personage is not permitted to one who is of common stock. It was in ignorance that I formerly addressed you in disrespectful terms. Do not hold it against me, O Raghava. You who are conversant with the significance and implication of things and devoted to the welfare of all, in the serenity of your understanding that nothing disturbs the working out of the cause and effect are known to you. O you whose speech accords with justice and who are conversant with duty, rescue me who am fallen and the first of those to transgress the law. In a voice strangled with sobs, Wally, groaning, expressed himself with labored effort, his eyes fixed on Rama, and resembled an elephant sinking in a morass. I am not concerned for myself or Tara or my relatives as much as for my virtuous son Angada of golden bracelets. Beholding me no more, that unfortunate one who has been so cherished from childhood will pine away with grief. Like a pool whose waters have dried up, he is yet young and his understanding has not yet matured. He is my only son and most dear to me. Tara is his mother. O Rama, do yourself protect that powerful Angada. Show extreme kindness to Sugriva and Angada. Be their guardian and their guide. O you who are fully conversant with the laws of righteousness and unrighteousness, what you would perform for Bharata and Lakshmana, do the same for Sugriva and Angada, because Vali had already seen how, in a rightful way, he is looking towards Lakshmana and Bharata. He is asking the same treatment for Sugriva and Angada. See that Sugriva does not hold the sagacious Tara responsible for the fault I have committed, or failed to treat her with respect. Under your protection, let him govern the kingdom, and living obedient to your counsels, he will attain heaven as well as rule the earth. As for yourself, despite Tara's words, I wish to receive death at your hands, and came forth to enter into a duel with my brother Sugriva. Having spoken thus to Rama, the now humble king of the monkeys became silent. Then Rama consoled Vali, who was still fully conscious, and spoke to him in a gentle voice, expressing the essence of spiritual and secular wisdom, saying, have no anxiety either on your behalf or your own, O best of Vanaras. We know what should be done above all in that which concerns you. He who punishes the guilty and he who is guilty and pays the penalty have both fulfilled the purpose of cause and effect, and therefore eschew calamity. Thus, thanks to the punishment that frees them from all taint, they regain their immaculate nature by the very path which paved the way to the penalty. Put away grief, bewilderment, and fear with which your heart is filled. You cannot avoid your fate, O chief of the Vanaras. What Angada was to you, O king of the Vanaras, he will be to Sugriva and myself. Do not doubt it. The magnanimous Rama, intrepid in combat, uttered these words full of tenderness and benignity in accord with righteousness, and the dweller in the forest answered him humbly, saying, pierced by your arrow, my mind bewildered. I insulted you without knowing what I was doing. O Lord, you whose immeasurable valor is equal to Mahendra's, be pacified and pardon me, O veritable sovereign of the monkeys. Thus ended chapter 18 of Kishkindha Kanda in Ramayana. नमस्ते शारदा देवी काश्मीरपुरवासिनी त्वामहं प्रार्थये नित्यं विद्यादानं च देहि मे गुड बाय